Well, welcome everybody to this MESH Tell Us More interview. I'm Mary Begley. I'm a development worker and a project worker at MESH, Migrant English Support Hub. And I'm here today with Danielle King, Prevent Coordinator in Bradford. Danielle is here to tell us more in this feature about her role and particularly about how ESOL teachers and providers can use Prevent to safeguard young people and others. Danielle, do you want to say hello and introduce yourself?
Yes, hello everybody. My name's Danielle King and I'm the Prevent Coordinator in Bradford. And I've been invited here today by Mary to discuss some bits of my role. So shall I carry on?
Yeah.
Basically, Prevent is part of the government's counter-terrorism strategy to stop people from becoming terrorists or supporting terrorism. And what we do is we intervene early to support people who might be susceptible to radicalisation. We use education and resources and projects and training to make sure that all our statutory partners and non-statutory partners are aware of what Prevent is and how to safeguard people within their care to stop them from being drawn towards radicalisation. And we work across the district. We work with the local authority, we work with the NHS, we work with mental health services, social care. We work in lots of different communities across the district with the third sector, with faith organisations, with schools. So you can see there's an awful lot of partners involved in that. And we educate about Prevent and Prevent related issues. And basically all the work that we do is about safeguarding. So just like how in any school, there are safeguarding mechanisms to protect people and to keep them safe against a whole host of things, domestic abuse, sexual abuse, drugs, alcohol, everything you could, think of. We also want to keep people safe from being drawn towards extremism and radicalisation. And so the work that we do protects and educates people and it gives them resources as well to be able to combat that.
Thanks, Danielle. So why is Prevent so important in an education setting?
I think one of the reasons Prevent is so important in an education setting is that extremists and extremist narratives more and more are putting themselves in the online space. The online space is full of groups and individuals, influencers who are trying to promote their different extremist ideologies. Essentially, it's really important that young people particularly, but all of us really, understand that critical thinking is absolutely vital if you're using the online space, and we can't just accept things at face value. That there's a lot of danger out there in fake news with AI, misinformation, that sort of thing. So if we can work with the education sector to try and get that across, particularly to young people, I think that's really, really important. And I think the relationships that teachers have with their students are also a really good way of getting those things across, because there are good opportunities to discuss things and to unpick issues. So I do think the education space is a really, really important one for that.
So obviously, like you said, online spaces are sort of quite significant in people, especially young people, becoming radicalised. So you talked about critical thinking, and teaching critical thinking skills would be one of those important sort of things to think about. But are there other steps that ESOL teachers can take to I guess, reduce the risk for learners?
The issue with an ESOL teacher is you are teaching people who have probably come from lots of different countries.
Yes.
They are will be seeing some awful stuff that's been going on over the summer, and they'll be worried about this, and they may go online and see there may be people online who will capitalise on the fear that they feel and the trepidation that they feel about what they've seen, and in the online space they will try and use that possibly, to try and say, oh, did you see this? Are you really worried? These are terrible people, therefore join us and we'll, do you know what I mean? So extremists will try and capitalise on
vulnerable people.
On vulnerable people, on susceptible people in society, and issues that are going on at the moment, and turn them around to try and push forward their own agenda. So, you know, you've got people who might be susceptible because, I don't know, they're poor and vulnerable in their own areas. They see people coming from other countries, and some of these far-right groups try to target them and say it's their fault. But by the same token, you might get people coming from other countries who feel, you know, worried and scared, and they've come somewhere new, they're hoping for a better life, and they can see lots of people saying horrible things. But by the same token, extremists may try and enlist them and say, yes, so these are awful people, join us and we'll teach them a lesson, kind of thing. So it can happen both ways. And essentially what happens is every extremist, pretty much, doesn't matter what ideology, will target susceptible people, look at national and international events they can co-opt, twist it around to meet that agenda. It's important to engage with students. It's important to listen to you know, the things that they might be concerned about or upset about, and to provide, where possible, facilities for people to share viewpoints, to listen to each other, to have balanced viewpoints, and to be able to unpick those things. So I think that's really, really important. I think resources which can help with critical thinking and identifying dangerous elements online can be really useful. I think looking at, there are other aspects of the dangers that are online. Extremists will use things like games, online gaming. They will use chat rooms associated with online gaming. They will use various different apps and algorithms in general. People at risk. And so I think that where an ESOL teacher, where it might be applicable, if you're in a lesson or you were talking about such things, it'd be important to mention this, to unpick it, to discuss this with young people, and to give them the opportunity, a platform to discuss things, and to share kind of, you know, mechanisms where they can debate and share ideas, you know, rather than just thinking that the only thing you can do is to click on things and like things and get drawn, you know, into algorithms that could be damaging.
Yeah, thank you. So you're in Bradford, Danielle. So not everyone watching this video will be in Bradford, because MESH is a Yorkshire and Humber-wide organisation. So will there be parallel organisations in other councils and other areas of the Yorkshire region?
Yeah, so there are prevent coordinators in priority areas across Yorkshire, and I'm one of those, and there are various ones, but we've also got in the local authority in other areas in Yorkshire that aren't necessarily categorised as priority areas. You will have people who are there to ensure that the prevent duty is being followed, and that people are being given help and support. So it depends on the individual area and whether or not it's a priority area, in terms of the size of the team and the resources available. But you will certainly have somebody in all the areas that will be there to address the safeguarding needs across around prevent.
Okay, and we'll provide links below this video to some of those organisations. Well,
absolutely, yes. And there is training as well, which I'm sure people are aware of, and I'm sure safeguarding leads are aware of, regarding prevent, which is Home Office training. So I'll also provide those links.
Thank you so much for chatting with me today, Danielle. It's been really interesting. Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you.